my fellow yummy mummies and cherub cheek chummies, how you doing today? As I always say, well I try to say at the beginning of videos, don't forget to give it a like, a thumbs up, comment below if you'd like to, and what's the other thing? Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'd like to also say hello to the new subscribers to the channel. Thank you very much for subscribing. And what I'm going to what I'm going to talk about today, in fact, is the update with my friend. A lot of you have probably seen the video that I did, which has got the highest number of views, interestingly, about my friend's PIP assessment and what she had to go through. And I just thought I would do a sort of short update about her situation now and what she's going through, etc. And yeah, basically answer some questions. I had quite a few comments as well. Please don't think that I had a few quite offensive comments, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion and everything like that, of course they are, but please don't tar everybody with the same brush. Not everybody is messing up the benefit system, is screwing the system. There are people out there who generally are struggling, who are on PIP, who have disabilities. They don't make them up. Yeah, I'm not saying that there are people that do take the mickey, but a lot of people don't. She's not taking the Michael. She's genuinely not well. She genuinely battles mental health issues practically every day, and it's a real struggle for her. So please think before you put anything below. If there's anything offensive, I will be deleting it. I am actually thinking about turning the comments off completely for this video, because I don't want unhelpful judgmental remarks on here. So please think twice before you think about writing anything down there that is neither helpful, constructive, or nice, basically. And anyway, she has since given up her job. She did a part-time job. It was actually making her depression and anxiety worse, and it wasn't helping her, and it wasn't helping her financially either. So it just was not helping her. And she did hear back from PIP, and she actually got less. She went from, I think she lost the mobility component, so she's gone from that to standard living rate, or standard living rate PIP. So she's down by about, I think from what she told me, about £100, £120 a month. And I think this is partly because she told them that she was working. She was, when you've got a mental health disability, or any disability, sometimes it's really hard to go out and work and have the courage as well. She's lost a lot of confidence, and I was really proud of her for actually going out and applying for work and going for an interview. And I mean, that's sometimes terrifying for some people, and especially people like my friend who's got depression and anxiety. And anyway, she thought she would phone up the PIP people, the DWP, and let them know that she's given up the job. They basically said, well, you'll have to go through it again. You would have to go through the form again. You would have to go for another assessment. And I mean, the thought of that terrified her, because the first time was awful, and then having to go through that again just because she wanted to update them to say she wasn't working anymore. And they sort of said, well, you've got to do it within a certain time frame, the form, and you could end up with nothing. You could end up with a reduced PIP, but you'll have to go through another assessment. And she basically decided she wasn't going to do that. Her assessment, her renewal, because obviously it's not permanent, because apparently you're just meant to magically get better, especially when you have mental health issues, I may add. I think it runs out December 2019, so I assume that she'll be having another assessment December 2019, January time, I would have thought. So she doesn't, I think she's in two minds as to whether to do it anymore, because it is just I know she was upset for days after the first assessment. Anyway, that's the update. So she's on a lower rate. I know a few of you also asked about how best to prepare for an assessment and everything. And all I can really say is obviously make sure that you've got all your paperwork, you've got all your medication. You can take someone with you. You can. Don't think about recording it and not tell them, because that's just, it's not on, it's not really allowed. I think you can record it as long as you have a tape player, you have 2 tapes, they have a copy, you have a copy, or something like that I was reading. And they take a copy and you have a copy of the actual interview. But I would definitely not advise taking a tape in and not telling them and not arranging it beforehand if you do want to record it. And the other thing I was going to say as well, remember to tell them how you struggle on your worst days, because I know with depression and with my friend that sometimes she has days where she's alright, she can get by. Other days she doesn't want to get out of bed, she can barely get the motivation. She's like, what's the point? I don't want to get out of bed, I don't want to wash today, I'm just feeling, what is the point? Why bother? I'm not going to see anyone, why bother? So there's that aspect as well. So do remember that. And I know how terrifying it can be. And I mean, someone said to me, God, could you imagine doing that assessor job every day and going through all those assessments? And I thought, yeah, I see it from the other person's point of view. But I do feel that it needs to be completely rehauled, and especially people with mental health, I think it can be quite discriminatory. It's a long word for me, for people that have mental health. And I don't know, just part of me is like, well, why would you go, if you were conning the system, why would you put yourself through that? If you're really struggling, and to put yourself through that, I can't quite still get my head around it. From what I gather, and I might be wrong on this, that a lot of people do get turned down, but then they appeal. I think I read about it somewhere, and then they go to appeal, and then they get it, and it costs the government, the DWP, a lot more money going through the appeal as well than if they just accepted the person's PIP assessment in the first place. I think a lot of it is obviously designed to put you off. But I also understand, I remember watching this reality programme. It was a documentary a few years back. It had Katie Price in it. And I'm sure it was Katie Price. And they were saying that billions of benefits go unclaimed every year. It's a difficult one. I don't know. The other thing I was going to say as well is that I'd heard that a lady had taken them to court saying that the PIP assessment, etc., was discriminatory against people with mental health problems, because it was saying that people with mental health problems don't have mobility problems, which is a load of rubbish, because they do have problems. I've seen it again with my friend. She's tried to go into a room of people she didn't know, immediately had a panic attack, broke down, was crying, and ran away. And so you're saying that, or she's too anxious to drive, or she's too anxious to get on public transport, or she's really like shaking, nervous, or she can't, because she has anxiety, her mind goes into overdrive, she can't concentrate on planning a journey. It's difficult to explain, but basically, yeah, I mean, if you've got a mental health problem, it can affect your mobility. You might even not want to get out of bed that day, like my friend. That affects your mobility. So people are like, oh well, it's not a physical symptom, it doesn't affect your mobility. Yeah, it can actually affect your mobility. So I think they were going to do something about that, and they were reviewing all the cases. And I must admit, I thought that my friend might have heard something. with regards to this and her PIP. But it's obviously now November, and her assessment was, when was it, December? And she hasn't heard anything. So if anybody knows anything about that, can they let me know? If anybody's actually been on PIP, had mental health problems, had problems with mobility because of their mental health problems, and actually heard from the DWP about it in a similar kind of fashion, then let me know. It would be interesting to hear. I just find that very odd that it was in the news and then nothing. I know they're obviously really busy, they've got backlogs, etc., but I just find it very strange that it's now come up to nearly a year and my friend hasn't heard anything, and I've not heard anything. I've not heard anything in the news or anything like that. I assume that they're also incredibly busy with Universal Credit. Let's not even go there. And that's about it, really. So I'd like to say thank you for watching my video. I hope that you found some of it useful. If you've got any questions, please let me know. But remember, if you were genuinely ill and you were struggling, then make that point. Make it clear. And so I'm alright, and brush it off or whatever. And don't feel bad, because there are people out there who are genuinely struggling. Anyway, thank you for watching, and hope to see you soon.